You're watching the Liverpool Sport Guide. My name's Matt Jones and we're in Shooters in Liverpool 1, and I'm joined by, on my right, Neil Atkinson from the Anfield Wrap, and on my left, Everton fan and author David Fehily, and we're reviewing the transfer window, which has just closed. Some might say they're disappointed with it, some might say they're happy. We'll start with Liverpool, Neil. No one coming in. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was always going to be the case, to be honest with you, Matt. The manager, you look at his history with Dortmund, he doesn't buy in January. I mean, he's done one or two in there. He got Stephen Kolka last season. A lot of this stuff feels like stuff in an emergency. Like his last purchase for Dortmund in a January window was an emergency purchase. And I think the way in which he is with his players and with his side, he says he's got trust in them, he's got faith in them. He's got faith in his own backroom team and their setup as well. So I think the idea is, well, these are my lads. These are the ones that I'm going to go with, and we go from there. And the only thing he might have done was get a wide player in, given the Mane having been away. But also in general, I think he'd be looking to do that in the summer. And I think the Liverpool manager now, he doesn't want to do the sort of signings that I've seen Liverpool managers do in the past, and I don't think there's a right answer to this. For instance, I'd quite like to have seen Liverpool add a bit more pace in wide areas, but he wants the one he wants. He's not prepared to compromise. But if you look at, for instance, Rafa Benitez, who signs Hosseini in 2004, and then he signed Jan Kronkamp in 2006 or 2005, and then he signs Arbeloa. He doesn't just wait till he can get Arbeloa, and even Arbeloa was a bit of a risk. He was playing reserve team football and for Deportivo La Coruña. My example here is he's just gone up in increments, whereas Jurgen Klopp doesn't want to do that. His right way is to say, no, I know the guy who I wants to get him, and we all know it's someone like Pulisic or Brandt or someone like that. We know who it is. There's no surprises here. But if he can't get them, he's not prepared to compromise on a player who might be a bit more 7 out of 10 for him than 8 or 9.
Always a bit of a gamble signing someone in January, but for the Blues, it looks like it's paying off so far. Morgan Schneiderlin's come in, and Ademola Lookman as well.
Yeah, well, just the Lookman thing. I know a Charlton fan, and he told me while it was going on Twitter, he said to me, the kid, he will do something for you what your other wingers don't, and that's shoot. Well, the first thing he done on his debut is shoot after his first touch and scored a goal. That's what we're looking for. Just what Neil said about January is never the month to go shopping, especially not with big money. Suarez is about the only one off the top of my head who can say was an absolute unmitigated success. We're looking to get from A to Z, so you can't do that in one fell swoop, especially with a new manager. So it's incremental, and the transfer windows are the flags in the floor. What you judge your manager is tenure. That's respectively. That's how you judge him in the contemporary football, because it's the only time you can change it. So the really important major steps in this transfer window have been letting people go. The problem comes then. Deulofeu, for example, is the only really one at question because of the pace aspect. Now that we've got money and we're not looking to be little pennies here and there, making on deals to try and make them up to get another deal. That's not the crack here no more. So we didn't really have to let Deulofeu go now. We could have kept him, sorted him sweet, give him 10 minutes here and there, and kept him till the summer. He hasn't gone down that road. So let's hope that the injuries work with us and we get away with it, because the kids have been pulling him out the fire recently.
Well, that Everton squad has had a bit of a facelift. We've seen the likes of Darron Gibson go, Bryan Oviedo leave as well. Are you surprised they didn't bring in a striker, though?
Absolutely, I am. But then I'm not, because I see the kid from Napoli went to Southampton last night, and we were Gaviadini, and we were after him for a long time, and he moved in the January window, and we weren't the buyers. So that tells me exactly what Neil just said. He's got somebody in mind. Romelu Lukaku is a very specific, particular centre forward. He's got bags of goals, but he's also got a methodology where others have to work around him. You see what I'm saying to you? So he might have in mind that if you can put someone alongside him, you might get at least half the goals again by somebody else, like a strike force. Well, that's all we're looking for. That'll take us another 8 points up the table, at which time we will then become legitimate in the shake-up, you know.
Well, Mamadou Sakho has left Liverpool. He's joined Crystal Palace on loan until the end of the season, but Sturridge didn't go anywhere. Lucas didn't go anywhere, despite rumours. Are you happy with that, Neil?
Oh, very much so. I mean, the idea of Sturridge going anywhere in this window would be crackers. Even though he looks like he's having a hard time of it at the minute, he's still really important for Liverpool. He's going to be really important for Liverpool for the rest of this season, in that you need to be able to literally make substitutions. It helps. And, you know, there's certain games where he'll come in really, really helpful. Lucas is experienced. He's now at the club. He's going to get 10 years, and that's a big deal. I think that he knows the ropes, and also he's a big person in that dressing room. He's big for Coutinho, who's signed a new deal. He's big for Firmino. He's big for the South American contingent around the football region in general anyway. I know, for instance, he's friendly with Fernandinho. He's seen as a bit of a father figure, so you don't let that go lightly. Sakho, I think, had to go. He needs to play some football, and he just simply wasn't going to at Anfield. Now, whatever happens to him next, he doesn't come back. I don't think he's not going to come back and play for Liverpool again. But all the best to him. You know, he was good for us at times last season. He's fought for the cause. He's let himself down in a few ways. If you believe everything that you read, and broadly speaking, I do, to be honest with you. But you know, footballers move on, and it's always nice that if they can move on, you can say, you know what, I hope he goes on. I hope he does really, really well. And he's a strong example of one where, you know, I hope he does really, really well and does the business for Crystal Palace.
We'll just quickly wrap up then. The transfer window has closed. Not too much business, as both of you have mentioned. Who in the Premier League has had the best transfer window?
That's a really difficult question. I think there's a few who are just rolling the dice at the bottom of the league, and I think that's quite a big deal at this stage. I think United and Everton. I think Everton, what was said before about clearing out the dead wood, is significant, to be honest with you. I think it helps, and it clarifies on the training pitch the manager's sense of purpose. They know what he's about now. So I think you can quite easily say that it could well end up being Everton. I think Schneiderlin's going to be a really good buy for them. He's a buy for 3 seasons, not just for 1. So they'll take some time getting him up to speed. He also solves the Gareth Barry problem as to who plays when Gareth Barry doesn't play, or as Gareth Barry gets older. So if you were honestly, and it's not just because Dave's here, if you were to put a gun to my head, I'd say, you know, both United and Everton, and I'd obviously rather that wasn't the case, but both United and Everton, I think, have done really, really well, and they haven't taken a gamble. Lookman's a young player. He could become a real prospect. He could do really well for them. But as I say, I think Schneiderlin playing under Koeman is about the safest bet that you can make, and that's one of the reasons why I think United wanted as much money as they did for him, because they knew that Everton knew and Koeman knew, listen, this is a safe bet, and I really think it will be, and he'll do really well for the Blues for 2 or 3 seasons.
David, same question to you. Which Premier League club best transfer window?
Well, you'd have to say Oscar. Getting 60 million for Oscar from anybody, you'd have to say that's a winner straight away. Well, if you think that Payet only went for 37 million, and the effect what Payet's had on the Premier League as opposed to what Oscar's had on the Premier League, it's a steal. Chelsea always seem to do it, but I would say to you, if I was picking somebody else aside from our own 2 clubs, I'd say probably Snodgrass for West Ham. If you're at the bottom and you're scrapping, that kid will score you goals, and that's been their problem. That's what Payet gave them last year, what jumped them halfway up the league with pretensions of getting into Europe. That's the difference for them. So if you're going to spend money in January, spend it wisely. I suggest that might be a wise, a frugal buy, to be honest with you.
So David Fehily, Everton fan and author, Neil Atkinson from the Anfield Wrap, thank you very much for your time. This is the Liverpool Sport Guide.